What's going on, everybody? It's Dot Bets. We're checking back in. We got our week 15 on the dot NFL live stream coming at you guys here on another wonderful, wonderful Sunday morning. Optimism is at an all-time high, as it always is. Throwing those tickets in, you scrolling through the sportsbook apps. We a lot of opportunity that we need to cash in on. So appreciate you guys tuning in and giving me 30 minutes of your time. So appreciate you guys. We'll be here till about 10:30 Central. As always, throw your questions in the chat. We come off of another very, very profitable stream last week. I had a sense we could have swept, and we went 6-2. So 6-2 last week, plus 3.4 units. The Falcons just, basically shut down their leg in the fourth quarter to ruin the teaser last week. And then we did not get our anytime touchdown as Drake London forgot. I mean, he had a couple targets in the red zone, just got batted down. So they knew how to play. They knew how to play Kirk last week, which is unfortunate. But this is a new week. We have 6 or 7 more plays for you guys. So we're very, very excited to get rolling this morning for you guys. As always, this stream is brought to you guys by Occupy Fantasy. Make sure you guys tune in always to their channel on YouTube, Occupy Fantasy, and then their website, occupyfantasy.com. They have the best optimizer, lineup builders, projections, basically everything that you need for every sport in the DFS landscape. Shout out to Brian and those guys over there, killing it as always. Shout out to Occupy Fantasy. Justin, what's good, Dot? Let's get it. We are ready to go. We're ready to go. We need a quality Sunday. I feel a anytime touchdown banger is about to hit today. We were one shy last week off the Discord. We needed George Kittle, and he decided to get 150 yards and no touchdown. So we lost that one, but we're close. We're real close. I think we got some good opportunities here. And those will be in the Discord below. If you guys want to join for those, I give out 3 to 4 every Sunday. Been on a little cold streak, but we're due. We're definitely due. All right. So this is your first time tuning in. We have a spread play. I've gotten rid of the totals I just kind of went 50-50 on them. I wanted something more reassuring for the stream, a little bit more prop based. So we have another same game parlay for you guys, a 2-leg, and then we have our teasers. Besides last week, we've hit like 6 or 7 in a row. So we're about 6-1, I believe, our last 7, and we have a 3-team this week we will give out, and we have 3 additional player props, and then my anytime touchdown, pick to click player of the day. So if you guys have any start sit questions for fantasy, I know it's playoffs. I know it's the first round. I'm sure you guys have questions. Throw them in the chat. Any questions over any player props you're looking at? DFS questions. So just throw them in the chat. Love to hear from you guys. Hell, just say what's up. Appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, enough banter. Let's get after it with our first play of the day. And I just swapped to this morning. I wrote up a good piece last night. And if I would have had the show last night, it would have been the Bengals, because for whatever reason, FanDuel was hanging a 4.5 for the Bengals. Every other sports book was like 5, 5.5. Some had 6. And for whatever reason, FanDuel had 4.5. I was going to have that for the show. And then I said, you know what? It's like 6 now across the board. It's 5 or 6s across the board. Everyone hammered them. Too much public money on the Bengals. I'm just off. I hate that team. They with a passion. They underperform. So I know that the Titans barely got, or they couldn't put any points up last week. So this week they're just due. They're due to just make it a shootout game against this Bengals team. So I'm staying far away. So what I'm going to pivot to, which I went to this morning, we're going to go to that Bucks Chargers game. I think the money's split on this game. I think a lot of people are actually more towards Tampa Bay in this game. But I'm going to go the Chargers. Chargers -3. I got minus 104 on FanDuel. Everyone's on this Bucks team after the last several weeks, but after their bye week, they've won like 3 straight. However, they've had the softest schedule out of I think softer than the Eagles in this last 3 weeks. We had the Giants, the Panthers, and the Raiders, and somehow, some way, everyone's on this bandwagon of the Bucks. I think it stops here today. This Chargers team is lethal, in my opinion. I think they have It's one of those ugly teams that get it done, and they almost did it against the Chiefs last week. They've held leads against the Bengals. They've had leads against the Ravens. I mean, this team is good. So with Harbaugh, he has this. Even with J.K. Dobbins going down, they have Gus and then Kamani Vidal. They're getting McConkey back today. So I think this overall spot here on a team that's coming off of 3 lackadaisical performances against 3 pretty blah teams. I think the Chargers here rebound, get a good victory. If you want to go a different angle, go Chargers first half, as they're a better first half team. But Baker in his career, he's 39% ATS versus teams above 500. So he dominates the shitty performers, but when it comes to the big time game, he tends to underperform. Bucky Irving is somewhat, I would say, somewhat hurt. I don't know how many snaps he's going to play. He played 10 last week. He's got that aching back injury. Rashad White played admirably. The Chargers defense is legit. They can stop the run. They can make the Tampa Bay one-dimensional, and maybe they get to Baker a couple turnovers. But Winfield, huge loss for the Bucks as well. Also, Whitehead is out too. So I think Herbert with Palmer and McConkey, they don't have Will Dissly because he ruined our parlay a couple weeks ago or last week. So on a useless first half play. But I think that Stone's smart. He came in, got 50 yards receiving. I think this Chargers team gets it done today. Covers -3. So let's take them against this Bucks team. Ride it in high. A little bit of a false hope right there. We got CCD Sports, Jake Hayner, season Saints -3.5. I would highly doubt you should take that, as I don't know how many points they even score today. But no, do not take that. Blake, what's up, buddy? Let's go Sunday win day. Yes, we need multiple wins. We need several wins today. I hope we win humongous today. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, to our same game parlay. And for whatever reason, I don't know if they have it. This FanDuel has it now. Someone shout out to me if they do. But they don't have any alternate rushing yards for Anthony Richardson yet. And otherwise, I would have taken this 25 plus receiving or plus rush yards with Josh Allen's 25 plus rush yards. But I'm going to go a different angle here. And a lot of letters on the screen, numbers on the screen. But basically all it is, Josh Allen, 25 plus rush yards, and Anthony Richardson over 8.5 first quarter rush yards, plus 145 on FanDuel. If you've watched Josh Allen the last 5 weeks, he's just been an absolute stud. He, besides the San Francisco game, he's got 50 plus in 3 out of the 4. And if you've watched this, the Lions-Bills game, obviously everyone's going to be watching. I can't believe it's not Sunday Night Football. I wish they would have flexed this one. But against the quarterback position, they absolutely get abused by rushing or / mobile quarterbacks. I mean, you've got not even rushing quarterbacks that dominate them. So you have Baker 34, Murray 45, Geno 38, Darnold 39, Rudolph 29. Richardson posted 61 on him. Caleb Williams 39, Jordan Love 23. Because they play man coverage at such a high rate, and they get to the quarterback too. So it's a perfect storm for mobile quarterbacks to just run out and go. So if you want to ladder Josh Allen's rush yards, I know it's like getting up to like mid 40s line. So I've seen people take it just straight up. I'm going to angle this here with Richardson over 8.5 first quarter rush yards. And if you've seen this Colts team play since Richardson's been back, they literally have a design run or 2 or 3 for him in each and every first quarter. It's kind of how he like warms up to the game. And the books have kept to this 8.5 number for the last 3 or 4 weeks as I've just eyed this every week. And so since he's came back, he's gotten 31, 11, 12, 35, and 10 in the first quarter. I can see if I can have rush attempts. Yeah. So rush attempts 3, 4, 1, 4, 3, and 2. He's just getting. It's like how he warms up to the game, and it doesn't really matter even if it's a good matchup or not. I would say the Broncos aren't that great of a matchup for Richardson. This line is still at 44.5 for him. So I'm good here. I like the first quarter angle as he gets designed runs over and over again with with this game plan that they keep rolling out. So go ahead, take Richardson over 8.5 first quarter rush yards, and Josh Allen 25 plus rush yards for that same game parlay. Like I said, plus 145 over on FanDuel. All right, let me know what you guys think of those two plays so far. If you guys have any questions, throw them in there. Love to hear from you guys throughout the show. All right. And so if I have a 3-team teaser, usually I go 7 points. But this week, I'm going to actually go a little bit higher or a little bit lower with higher odds. So it's a 6-point teaser. And we are going to go with the Commanders, Colts, and the Eagles. All right. So Commanders, basically tease them down from 7.5 to 1.5. Colts are 4.5 to 3.5, depending on what sports book you got. So I believe I took this over on DraftKings. Colts move those guys up to plus 10.5. The Colts-Broncos game is a huge game for the AFC playoff implications. Basically, if you lose this game, it is a very, very high uphill battle to get into the playoffs. So you should see a tight-knit game, very close game. I think over-under is, 44 right now? Let me look real quick. The over-under, 43.5. 43.5. So I got this game being a little bit closer. 43.5, tease them up. Points will be at a premium here. Go 10.5 to the Colts. And then this Eagles-Steelers game, I think, is a very, very intriguing matchup. It's hard to always go against Tomlin as a dog. But I think overall, I almost took the Eagles as another spread play for this show. But I ended up saying, let's tease them. I think they ultimately win this game. I hate to go over 0. It's like the big no-no on teasers, but I went ahead and did this anyway. I did last week too. You're getting a half a point. But basically, the Eagles run offense should dominate once again today. This Steelers defense is known for being very, very good, right? Their rush defense has gotten obliterated in the last couple weeks. And if the Eagles continue to do what they do, which I don't understand why you wouldn't, they are going to just run all over this team. And so I think it's a really, really good spot for the Eagles. They've won 9 straight. They haven't even played pretty well. I think their animosity with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, I think, got overblown. I don't think that's going to be an issue here today. And if so, they just lean on Saquon Barkley. And, his projections over 100 rush yards just straight up. So it's an insane number. Why would you not continue to feed this guy? If somehow they stop the run, the Steelers stop the run, I think we're in trouble here. I just don't see that happening today. I think the Eagles roll at home as 5.5 point favorites. Sharp Bros, what's up, GOAT? What's up, buddy? Appreciate you tuning in. We are ready to get after it today. Ready to get after it. All right, so we got Commanders, Colts, and the Eagles plus 160, 1.25 units there. Like those positions. And then we got our 3 player props here that we will dive into. The first one has ticked up a little bit since what I've seen. I think it started at 18.5 and now it's up to 20.5. And that's Joe Mixon receiving yards, over 20.5 receiving yards over on FanDuel. Anytime, I can get this number around 20. I really wanted at 19.5. I'm okay still at that 20.5. He basically is the workhorse back. He's on the field. Shoot, I would say 90% of the time. And against this Dolphins defense, you can exploit them through the air, through your running backs. So they've been very susceptible of that lately. You even saw Alexander Madison put up 50 receiving yards against this team. That's pretty wild. But you got Ray Davis had 70. You had Josh Jacobs 74. Braylon Allen last week had 38. Even these guys that aren't very good at receiving the football out of the backfield are putting up good numbers to them because it's such a good matchup that coaches are going to continue to exploit. So same thing here, and even better for Joe, who's basically been an extension of the pass game here, has had multiple targets. I mean, he's got 6, 4, 4, 6, and 6 last 5 games. Receptions, he's had 5 and 4 the last 2, and he's got 44, 44, 23, and then last week he had 18 against that weird game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I feel like every time you play the Jaguars, all the projections go through the roof because it's just such an ugly game. So we're going to continue here to go with Joe over 20.5 receiving yards. We got Giovanni. What's up, buddy? Hey, let's get it. We are ready to roll. Brian Rodriguez, what's up, buddy? And we got the Sharp Bros. Blow it up. Blow it up. However we do it, blow this dang thing up. Let's do it. We've got a question here real quick. Sebastian, thoughts on Jake Hayner's passing yards under? What is that number? Let me see. To the New Orleans game, we're going to go pass yards 186.5. Woof. Woof. Against, it's always hard because against this, you got this Commanders defense who they're 7.5 point dogs too. And my only concern, if you're taking an under on this one, is somehow, some way, Kamara takes some unders, some short passes for a long distance. But ultimately, I'm okay with, I think, taking passing unders here. It's just going to be very, very close with the amount of passing attempts he's probably going to have today. But if I had to play it over under, I'd probably play over or under 186.5 there for Jake Hayner. There was a tweet the other day I saw was of his little, I don't know if it's his photo, whatever it was on Twitter, but it was basically he would do the tush push on 3rd and 20. It was pretty funny. But we got another question here with David Lee. What's up, buddy? Hey, Joe Burrow, 2 touchdowns today. 2 touchdowns today. Man, I don't know how you could go against that. Let's see. The matchup is there for the Titans. I mean, the man's throw for 300 plus yards, 4 straight weeks, multiple touchdowns. Yeah, he's thrown 2 touchdowns or more in basically 6 of his last 7. I'm strongly considering putting T. Higgins back into one of my anytime touchdown lays later on. You have Jamar Chase going for the Triple Crown. Yeah, Joe Burrow 2+ touchdowns. Over 1.5 pass touchdowns is like -198. So very, 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 very heavy. But yeah, I'm good with you. Maybe that's a extra parlay piece for you guys. But yeah, Joe Burrow for 2 is as certain as a lock as it probably could be today. We got one more question here. Matchup on Jonnu Smith for this Texans. Is it worth taking his under on yards? Oh, Jonnu. There's going to be a lot of fantasy teams that were burned by him last week until overtime. He didn't have a catch until overtime last week, and they finally got Waddle and Tyreek back into the mix. Tua's been throwing the hell out of the football recently. I don't think that changes here, so I probably wouldn't take his under. I like him in this matchup. Even though it's not the greatest matchup for a tight end, he's still a pivotal part of this offense. And the Texans basically stop the run at a very high rate. Achane has been horrible yards per carry this year as of late. I don't know if Mostert's in. Let me know in the chat if Mostert's in. I don't know that off the top of my head. But I think Tua is going to have to air it out in a very, very key matchup here with the Texans. I would lean Jonnu Smith over his receiving yards. I want to see what that number is right off. He's at 45.5. Yeah. And he only reason why he didn't go over last week is somehow, some way, he just did not end up getting a pass to the overtime. And then he had 44 receiving yards. But before that, he's cleared 45.5 in the last 5 games. So I'm okay with taking the over here with Jonnu Smith. If you want to go a little different route, maybe go receptions to over 4.5 with Jonnu. All righty. So, yeah, we got Joe Mixon. Keep those comments coming and questions coming. We'll go back to our second play of the day here as we get the show moving here. But, yeah, Joe Mixon, over 20.5 receiving yards. And then we're going to go, as I just said, throw the projections out the window with the Jaguars play. I think the matchup here with the receivers in this game for the Jets is basically as good as it's going to get. And I'm going to favor the lower of the two. So I've seen so many people on Devontae Adams, so many people on his anytime touchdown. I'm all for that, whatever. I see it. But I'm going to go with the guy that's been doing it all season long. And we're going to go Garrett Wilson. Over 58.5. You got Adams' numbers. It's like 65.5. I could easily see Wilson outperforming Adams today. He actually, if you look at it, because the Jaguars play man-to-man coverage, Adams always eats man-to-man coverage up. So I see their analysis. But so does Wilson. And he basically has a higher catch rate, yards per catch, and ADOT against man-to-man coverage this season. So I'm confused on all the Devontae Adams love or just the overall higher number here. So I'm just going to go with the default. Go to the 1B in this case with Garrett Wilson, 58.5 receiving yards. I mean, last week he had 114, and he's gotten 10 plus targets in 3 of his last 5 games. He is their best receiver in my opinion. And I think Aaron Rodgers, I know Breece Hall's back today, should open up even more things in the pass game, but you got to believe Aaron Rodgers is going to try to perform to the highest of his capability, trying to show off to some team next year of please take me to see what just basically put on a performance for his next team. But the matchup's too good here. Taking the lower number of Garrett Wilson, 58.5 receiving yards, totally fine. Totally fine if you want to take Devontae Adams, but I'm going to default to Garrett Wilson here. All right, we got Rashid. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you tuning in. We got Nico Collins for 2 touchdowns today. He will definitely be in mine for one of them, for 1 touchdown. I feel like Nico is always, every time he suits up, he's capable of 2 touchdowns. Let me see how the matchup plays out real quick. You got Nico. Where's he at? If I could find him. Receiving yards. Nico. Against Miami, how many of the receivers have gotten 2? Jaden Reed had 2 on him, but everybody else has basically been 1. I'd say it's definitely doable. Definitely doable with with Nico today. I'd probably more safely go with the 1, but I could definitely see it. Sebastian says, I also have this on a ticket, great value. I'm assuming that is for the Mixon play, as I saw, or Wilson. And then we got Sebastian again. The likelihood of T. Higgins hitting the over on the yards. I think it's very high. I think it's definitely very high. You have, I know he burned me. I know he burned a lot of people with only the 5 targets, but he has actually out targeted Chase like 5 weeks in a row before that performance. So I'm all for T. Higgins bounce back. Burrow came out and aggressively said that they want him back next year. I think now he said it in the presser. I think he's going to continue to perform. Um, he's Burrow's always calculated with that stuff, so I'm definitely all for going back to T. Higgins today. If you've watched any of the PGA shows that we do with me and Teaser, we always say don't be afraid to go back to the player that burned you the following week because they're due. And it's hard to do, but you definitely still need to. Brandon, what's up, buddy? Start 2 for fantasy. Oh boy, here we go. Thielen, Josh Downs, or Tank Bigsby, man. Someone asked me this question with Tank earlier in the week, and I was like, why are we even considering Tank Bigsby? Because I haven't watched many of the Jags games. And then I look at the box score. I'm like, damn, he is the number 1 guy there now. So Thielen is for sure. Thielen is the shoe in there. Him and Bryce Young have got a very, very good connection going. He's been probably what Bryce Young has been missing the most. Only thing that I don't like with Josh Downs is he's coming back from an injury, and you just against that Broncos defense, you just never know how big of an upside he could have. So I would probably default here to Thielen and Tank. Pretty wild. Just Tank Bigsby. Throw him in your lineups on playoff times. Thoughts on Sutton for over on 5.5 receptions. Really like Sutton today as well. I almost included him in the builder that I put into the Discord today. I was going to have him be like 50 receiving yards, but I'm all for Sutton today over 5.5 receptions. Great matchup. Colts defense has gotten better, but I do think he gets featured against them. What's up, Corey? Says, what's up, Dot? JMO or Bucky at flex today? Full PPR. Oh, boy. That's a good one. Bucky, I mean, no questions asked. Fully healthy Bucky. You're probably not even asking this question. It would be Bucky. But I can't. I mean, I'm guessing this is for playoffs, fantasy playoffs. I'm going to go JMO. I think he has a higher upside today. I don't know if you're looking for maybe your opponent had Puka and Kyron. I don't know. Or maybe they had Cup and you're maybe looking the safer play. The safer play is probably the floor for Bucky. Assuming he's fully healthy, I just can't trust him. So I would go JMO today. I could see him catching a deep ball. Plus that over-under is like 54.5. So lots of opportunity for offense in that game. I'd roll with JMO. Blake, have to start Adam and Josh. I'm guessing that was into the question of Brandon. I went Tank. But man, it's tough. But I like Tank over Josh Downs. Just don't know where he's coming back from. And then you have Richardson. If Flacco with Downs, I would have said 100% Downs. All right, let's keep moving with our third prop play, and we basically just talked about this connection here, but we're gonna go with Thielen. Adam Thielen over 4.5 receptions. He's just been an absolute monster since he's came back from his injury. He's had 8 and 9 receptions in his last 2 weeks. You have 10 and 11 targets. His ADOT is very, very short. It's exactly what Bryce Young needs. It's a match made in heaven, and it sucks that he hasn't been there all year long for Bryce Young. But with those two, they have a phenomenal connection. Now you go up against this Cowboys team who just lost Travion Diggs. I just don't know how hard this Cowboys team is going to play, in my opinion. I like Chuba today. If you need maybe a easy leg for your 8 anytime touchdown parlays, but they're gonna have to throw the football throughout the game, and Thielen's their guy. Throughout the league, you have or throughout the sports, multiple different sports books. Let me show you guys here over on Occupy Fantasy website on OccuProp. You have Thielen. I'm going to show you just a little different juice that it is. throughout the different ones. Minus 128 is the lowest, is what I'm showing you guys here. Actually, wow, that just jumped up. Sorry. Um, it was minus 128 literally right as I went on to the stream this morning, and it's gotten a bunch of love apparently. So, but it's minus 142 over on Caesars. I don't like to take it that much juice, but the connection's there. So, I'd still take it. I got it at minus 128 literally like 20 minutes ago before the stream. And that's why I liked it on FanDuel, because it was 120, went to 128, and then now it's minus 146. So I'm still okay with taking it there. I think I don't even think it's considered low hanging fruit on that point. You have just such a good spot here for Thielen up against this Cowboys defense that will get obliterated. And I'm all for the Panthers today, which is pretty wild because it's the first time they've been favored in like 17 years. It feels like. All right, we got some comments to go. Derrick Henry touchdown today as a 16.5 point favorite. Yeah, is it not minus 1,000 yet? I don't even know what it is. That was one of those props where it's like, if you want to throw it in, you can. Let's see what it is. Yeah, that game is just I stayed far away from minus 260. Actually, that's not as I thought it'd be lower. Oh, sorry. On Caesars, it's minus 440. Fanatics, it's minus 325. Sleeper minus 4. Yeah, 260 on DraftKings. Yeah, take it. I mean, that's a lock today, but that's a lot of juice. It's a throw-in boost for me. Yeah, that's what I would do. That's exactly how I play that. All for that. Sebastian is taking the over on Chuba Hubbard's yards of trap. I thought so originally, but then Brooks is out, Blackshear's even out. It's going to be the Chuba show all day long. It is inflated, so if you wanted to maybe same game parlay it, juice it down to maybe 60 and parlay it with I don't know, Gibbs 50 yards or something like that. That's probably the angle I would go. But Chuba's basically been defying basically all of everyone's projections this year, and it's a stupid good matchup. It's an inflated line, so I do understand the question, but he's just in such a good matchup. I'd definitely take it. All right, so we are actually 4 minutes over. That's all right. Let's go to our anytime touchdown pick of the week. Appreciate all the comments. Keep them flowing. I'll be here as long as you guys ask the questions. But we're going to go to the ugly game of the day. Ugly game. And we're going to roll with the Chiefs-Browns game. We've seen this total go down throughout the week because of the weather. But if you've seen the hourly projections for it, you have. I think it's going to be spotty with the rain. So I think the rain is going to be here and there throughout the game. The main thing is the wind in this game. It's going to be gusts up to 30 miles an hour. So we're going to run heavy here with the favorite RB1 at plus money. Maybe they just don't think they're going to get in the red zone. I don't know why this is even plus money, but we're going to go Pacheco plus 115, 1 unit over on FanDuel. Let me show you guys on the OccuProp radar as well. For Pacheco, I think it's minus at every other book besides FanDuel until I open my mouth again and they change it. But no, you're right. All right. So we got over here, you got Caesars minus 104, DraftKings minus 105, and then on FanDuel plus 115. So if you've you basically have seen Pacheco come back. This is his third game back now. He saw 16 carries last week, and you have he's sharing the load with Kareem Hunt. Andy Reid just came out publicly and said that they want to keep Hunt fresh for the postseason. So if they need to have him there, he can. But he's definitely agreed that he needed a rest. Pacheco coming off the ankle or the leg injury, whatever it was, looks completely fine. And then in this matchup, given the weather, even it sets it up even better. The Browns allowed rushing touchdown in 3 straight games and 4 of the last 5. And then you also have the Browns allowing the 7th most rush touchdowns in the league. It's just a great matchup, scenario wise, weather wise, and to get plus money over here. Usually I would see this line being like minus 120, minus 130 ish. But there is questions maybe overall with his health, how many snaps is he going to play, and everything like that. I'm going to go ahead and just assume fully healthy, assume just full go Isaiah Pacheco plus 115, and let's get it. All right, we got with Pickens out. Does that mean Freiermuth stocks go up? Yes. Yeah, he is going to be a huge part of the equation today. You got Calvin Austin, you got Mike Williams, but Russell has always relied upon his tight ends, and I don't believe that changes today. So yeah, go with Freiermuth. I'm good with him getting a little bit more production today. Mike, flex in PPR. What's up, man? Thomas Jr., Swift, or Thielen? Flex in PPR. Flex in PPR, man. I'm going to rule out Swift, and I'm going to go. I love Brian Thomas, love everything about him, but I think I'm going to go Thielen in that route with a better matchup here against the Cowboys. I think a higher upside, even in a higher floor than Brian Thomas. If it was Trevor Lawrence being the quarterback, I would say definitely Thomas here. But I just cannot trust Mac Jones. I'd go Bryce Young with Thielen. All right. How are we feeling on Herbert? 225 pass yards. Definitely good with that. Let me just look one time. Off the top of my head, I would say it would be good. Let me see. Oh, versus Tampa Bay. Yeah. Only thing I question here with 225 Herbert is that I don't know how fully healthy he is. I think he's one of the toughest quarterbacks in the league. I think he'll be fine. But I guess this is in your maybe a same game parlay or whatnot. His projections 244. I think with the pass yards, I mean, they give up the second most pass yards in the league as what the Bucks do. If they fall behind, I'm okay. I think this is a no-brainer play. But I'd safely say go 225. If you want to go a little bit safer, go 200, as he's hit that in 3 of his last 4. Since they're at home in McConkey. Yeah, McConkey being back is going to be huge for him. Definitely going to be huge. So go there. We'll take a couple more questions here. We got Sebastian. Are the targets there for McConkey? I have him for 5 receptions. Assuming he is fully healthy, which I would assume him playing, he's going to be a full go in a good game here, a good game environment with the Bucks. I'm okay with the 5 receptions. Definitely in play there for McConkey. And Kush says, finally made it. Appreciate the insight and effort as always. That's why I do it, man. I like it for 30 to 40 minutes every Sunday. So you guys to ask any questions. Let me give you guys any insights. So I appreciate you tuning in. All right, let's recap real quick and get up on out of here. And we will have anytime touchdown parlays in the Discord below. Make sure you guys join the Sharp Bros Discord. But yeah. We got Chargers -3. We got our same game parlay. Allen 25+. Richardson over 8.5 first quarter rush yards. That's a hashtag sharp play, I think. We got 6-point 3-team teaser. Commanders, Colts, and Eagles. Let's get all 3 of them. And then we have our 3 player props. Mixon over 20.5 receiving yards. Garrett Wilson taking the shorter number here with the better receiver, 58.5 receiving yards, and Adam Thielen over 4.5 receiving yards. I'm okay with taking the -146 if you have to. If you didn't take it, obviously, before the stream, and then you have anytime touchdown score of the day. We got Isaiah Pacheco in that sloppy Browns game in Cleveland. High winds, should see a bunch of run on the ground. All right, that'll do it. I appreciate you guys tuning in for week 15. And somehow, some way, we're inching towards the playoffs. I feel like the season's gone pretty fast. So, all right, we'll get up and out of here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll cash some tickets, and we'll see you guys.